In this video, my wife and I road trip our S10 Blazer over 2,000 miles round trip while towing the WaveRaider 700 the whole way. I posted a video a while back about a transmission problem I was having. That was for the S10 Blazer. Turns out I had a problem where it was spewing ATF, or transmission fluid, all over the exhaust, which is a huge fire hazard. So I really had to get to the bottom of that and fix that before we could go anywhere. The first time I looked, I couldn't really find anything wrong with it, so I went back up underneath the truck. After moving things around a little bit, I did discover the problem. It was a piece of cooler line that I had made to repair a broken section the last time that I pulled the transmission out and reinstalled it. This time I was smart and went out and bought the proper tool, as you should. Using the tubing bender, I made a new section of line and reinstalled that to replace the broken section, and the problem was solved. After that, I went ahead and did a few more maintenance items on the S10 Blazer before we set off. Changed the oil, drained and refilled the radiator, installed a new fuel filter, and I also fixed the hood release cable that had broken on me just a little while back. I had also planned to install the new Hayden transmission cooler that I've had sitting around forever into the Blazer, but unfortunately I did run out of time to get that done. With all the major maintenance items taken care of on the Blazer, we set out the next morning about 5 a.m. for our trip from Florida to Tennessee. Just under 800 miles, it ended up taking us about 12 hours. We may live here in Florida near the beautiful waters of the Gulf of Mexico, but for me, nothing compares to this. This is a freshwater lake up in eastern Tennessee that was one of the TVA dam projects from back in the 30s. It's still beautiful water, even though the color is a little different. Crystal clear, but the best part is you're not getting pelted in the face with salt water when you're riding the WaveRaider around. For the WaveRaider, this was the second time I had it out since the last two videos I made for that, rebuilding the carbs and pulling it out of the yard after sitting for a full year without running. It did run great for the first day.
It didn't go quite as
planned. It's broken, it's not broken, who knows?
It did not go as planned. So, like, what happened? Explain.
I don't know what happened. If I knew what happened, I would have fixed it. Same spot, same place. Right after getting gas, it just stopped.
We were playing on it all morning, and it was working great. We did not get any footage of that, unfortunately.
I cleaned the plugs. They're nasty, needs new plugs, but...
Okay, so we're going to do that when we get home.
Yeah. No matter what I did, I couldn't get the damn thing to run again, and stay running anyway. So I let it sit at the dock and I concentrated on drinking beer instead. A few days later, it was time to head further north to Ohio and complete the next leg of our journey. Of course, I hopped on the WaveRaider and it fired right up and ran without a problem, just in time to take it over to the ramp and put it back on the trailer. Let it sit and it runs again. Fine now.
So far. Leaving, so that always happens. Working beautifully now, so we definitely got some more things to look at.
It ran all morning the other day.
It did. But as per normal,
we'll see. It's always something. Change your plugs,
something.
Get a new fuel filter, pump out that old gas.
Yep.
Cover jet. Do you want to just take it to the ramp?
What?
Do you want to just ride it over to the ramp since it's
Look how beautiful.
course, when we got back in the Blazer to get on the road, I ran into a bigger problem than the WaveRaider not working. Turns out the evaporator core that I had cleaned all the junk out of and posted a video of had sprung a leak and leaked out all of our refrigerant. So the 4.5 hour drive that we had from Tennessee to Ohio was without air conditioning. That wasn't too bad, but we weren't about to drive all the way back to Florida in the middle of summer with no AC. So from the road on our trip north, I made a call to the auto parts store and ordered a new evaporator core to be there the next day. I didn't do much more filming at this point, but I did take some pictures of the evaporator removal and install. Actually, it ended up being pretty easy, and it only took me about an hour. The only trouble I ran into there was being at family's house without proper tools. I ended up having to buy a cheap toolkit from the store along with the evaporator to get the job done. So that brought the total cost for that repair up to about $230, but that's money well spent to have air conditioning, especially in Florida, because we didn't want to die on the way home. And we made it all the way back, over 1,000 miles from Ohio to Florida without any trouble whatsoever. We had working AC the whole time, and it was actually a pretty nice trip. I haven't gotten a chance to look at the WaveRaider anymore, but I will be doing that in a future video here. I've got some fresh spark plugs to install. I plan on putting a new fuel filter on it, and hopefully I'll be able to get that running again so it doesn't leave me stranded out in the middle of the water. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you very much if you watched all the way to the end here. Please click the like button if you did. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And if you have an idea for a future video or suggestions on how I can make any of these videos better, let me know down in the comments. Thanks again, and see you next time.